Gentlemen, fellas, welcome back to another video. Guys, in this video, we're going to be talking about how to become more articulate, how to articulate yourself better. Now, I know the irony of a black man in a do-rag teaching you guys how to be more articulate. You see, for those of you that are new to the channel, it would behoove you greatly to drop your presumptuous nature. It would behoove you greatly to drop your ego. For those of you who have been subscribed to me for a while, I think you can tell by now that I'm a rather uncanny, peculiar individual, and I take great pleasure in demonstrating the juxtaposition between me and any other man that you'll find in this space. This isn't an act, this isn't a facade, rather it is exactly who I am. I am a modern day Renaissance man in every facet and way, shape, form possible, which is why my very services that I offer is exactly what I am, what I exude. So that being said, fellas, we're going to be talking about this from my perspective, and my perspective is unique because I've shared with you guys some of my vulnerabilities. In my last video, I spoke about how I used to have a debilitating stutter. You know, I used to have a speech impediment that really made me feel like a prisoner in my own mind. For anybody who has never dealt with a speech impediment, it feels like you're a prisoner in your own body because you can't convey what you're thinking to people. And so that's agony, that's torment, that's anguish. So that being said, fellas, let's get into the video. Y'all know me by now, man. I don't script any video, but I like to have some key points down here just so I can really conduct myself with brevity, make sure that I'm concise, and give you guys all this sauce. Now, that being said, fellas, why is articulation so important? I would argue that many of you watching this video right now, you're just a few months training of how to orate, how to speak, from changing your life. You see, articulation is paramount. Why is it paramount? Because relationships are paramount. Paramount meaning it is of the highest importance. You see, anything you want out of life, you want to advance in your career. Relationships, you want to build a business. Relationships, you want that woman with the big juice. I know what you want, freaky ass. Relationships, everything at every level in your life is relationships. It would behoove you greatly to master this area and sector of your life as a man if you want to advance in society, okay? That being said, let's get into the first one. I wrote down the first way to become better and become more articulate is to record yourself speaking. You need to hear how you speak, which is why I love these videos, because as I've gone along my journey of becoming better at articulating myself and speaking succinctly, I've been able to watch my videos. But even before I got on YouTube, I started recording myself back when I couldn't really speak clearly and I was stuttering and stammering. Now granted, I'm not a perfect speaker, guys. I still stammer sometimes, I still stutter sometimes. Everybody does. Nobody is a master speaker, right, or master orator. You can be a phenomenal speaker, right, on stage, but in your day-to-day life, you're gonna stammer sometimes, you're gonna bite your tongue sometimes. We're human beings, we're not robots. And this is important because oftentimes we can think that we're speaking clearly, that we're being perceived a certain way, but you don't truly know until you put yourself in the perspective of the beholder. What do I mean? Actually, I'm thirsty, hold up. I got cotton mouth. So what I mean by this, fellas, is that you don't know how you're perceived, right? But when you record yourself, you can see the little subtleties and nuances in your speech. Are you blinking a lot? Are you swaying your head? What are you doing, right? How are you speaking? Are you using a lot of ums and ums, right? And this is important because you can gain a real view of how you speak. When we're actually speaking, we don't know how we're being perceived by the person that's across from us. But by recording yourself, you can hear all the ums and filler words, and you can be cognizant of this moving forward as you practice your speech. This has been a game changer for me. I've been doing this since I was about, well, the camera phone came out when I was like a sophomore in high school, right? So once that came out, I was like recording myself speaking, and it was tough to watch. Actually, I still have those videos on my old flip phones, and this helped me become a better orator. It helped me become a better speaker because I could see how I was being received, and once I was conscious of that, I said, okay, instead of saying in this word or in this portion, I'm just gonna try to speak. But because I had a stutter, it was even tougher for me. So this is why articulation was more serious for me. it was more serious because I needed to speak. I was fighting for my life, bro. Straight up. I was fighting for my life because I couldn't do anything. My dating life was, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've always been okay with women, but I was like really held back because I couldn't articulate myself and I would embarrass myself. And because I would embarrass myself, I wasn't confident. And because I wasn't confident, I couldn't get the girls that I actually wanted. You feel me? So this was a very big part of my life. And a pivotal moment was me recording myself, seeing how I speak and how I come off to other people. Because I think a lot of you guys will be surprised how you come off to other people. When I'm speaking to some of you guys on our consultation calls, you know, and I send you back the playback, you can see how you speak, bro. You know what I mean? So I think it's very important to record yourself if you want to become a better communicator. Number 2, guys, the second way to become more articulate, and this is what I do personally, is to learn 5 new words a week. Now, I don't always make it to 5 words a week. Sometimes it's like 2 or 3, and it's across different languages, which we'll get into a little bit later on in the video. But learning 5 words a week and then applying them really helps you get a deeper bag of vocabulary, so to speak, right? You see what I did there, deeper bag? That was a trope. That was euphemism. You see, as you become a better articulator, a lot of you guys think that you have to remove yourself from your identity. You don't. I grew up in the hood. I am an African. I am a Haitian African. My family migrated here to the States from Haiti, okay? I didn't learn English until I was 6. It was actually tough because in my household, we spoke Creole and we spoke French. So when I started learning English, it was tough. I had an accent and I got teased. I got called African booty scratcher, all these different things. So that being said, I know how to speak colorfully. I know how to speak Ebonics when I'm in the hood. I talk that shit. In the contrary, I also know how to conduct myself with eloquence and speak succinctly. When I'm in higher society, when I'm in different rooms, I know how to speak with eloquence. You have to know how to move and shake. You have to be a well-rounded, eclectic individual, a Renaissance man. If you need help with your articulation, click that first link down below and join my modern-day Renaissance man community. I'm telling you guys, by the time I'm done with you, you're going to be speaking 4 languages. You're going to be living all across the world and have 3 home bases like myself. You're going to be able to get the woman that you actually want. But we're getting off topic here. Let's continue, fellas. You see, you have to know how to shake and move. You have to be able to know how to be in different settings, fellas. So learning 5 words a week might seem small, or perhaps it might seem like a grand task to you, but I assure you, learning 20 new words a month is going to change your life. The average person, for example, right now we're speaking English, right? The average person uses a limited amount of vocabulary. Depending on what region that they come from, especially in the United States, it's a limited vocabulary, right? Imagine you're learning 20 new words a month, bro. Do you know how much that is, bro? That's 240 new words a year. Seriously, you times that by 10 years, that's 2.4K words, okay? It's a game changer, fellas. I'm able to go to any room as a young man. I was able to move up the ranks in financial technology when I was working in tech. I'm able to conduct business meetings now with people that are 20 years my senior, all right? You're perceived as more intellectual and intelligent. Whether this is right how people perceive you or not, it doesn't matter. People are presumptuous. People are judgmental. People are prejudiced. You have to know how to conduct yourself. You have to know how to be perceived at the zenith of competency. Zenith meaning the highest point of competency. You have to learn new words, guys. You can't use the same words that everybody else uses. You have to separate yourself. Put yourself in juxtaposition to the rest of the average populace. Set yourself apart. You want to conduct yourself and be preeminent, guys. You have to stand out. So by implementing this tactic of learning 5 new words a week, I've been able to separate myself. My vocabulary has become more colorful. And I do this in every language I speak, which is why when I learn a new language, I really take the time to speak it in an eloquent manner. I know how to speak Old English. I know how to speak Old Spanish. I dive into all these different things because it matters to me. So by learning 5 new words a week, guys, you're going to become more articulate. And simple words that people use, you can use a synonym, and it's really gonna differentiate you from the average people. I'll give you an example, right? I could say when you're at the highest point of confidence, but I would prefer to say when you're at the zenith of confidence, when you're at the apex. I could say don't you want to be perceived as important? But I could also say, don't you want to be held with great grandeur? Don't you want to be... It just sounds better. It sounds more eloquent. It sounds more sophisticated, bro. It sounds like you on your grown man boss shit. That's the truth. And for a lot of you guys right now, perhaps you come from the inner city. Perhaps you come from a little village, right? We have brothers here from all over the world that watch us, right? Adding these new words, you're going to come off as more articulate, and on a subconscious level, you're going to be able to build rapport with people and even gain a little bit of psychological leverage, because people aren't going to think that you're a buffoon. This is how it is. I'm telling you how to really move and shake and control a room a little bit. When you exude this, guys, you gain a little bit of psychological leverage, but that's a whole nother video. Number 3, be conscious of your breathing. You see, back when I used to stutter so much, I would realize that my breathing was very shallow. I was in a state of angst, right? I was very anxious as I was speaking, and I would even speak super fast to try to fuse the words together to get it out, because if I didn't, I would struggle. I had to really go internal and work from the inside out, right? I told you guys that I had speech therapy, I did breath work, ayahuasca, all these different things, right? But really, breathing is paramount. You want to make sure that you're controlling your breathing, right? You can articulate yourself how you want to. You don't have to speak like other people. If I want to take a pause right now, take a time to ponder. On a subconscious level, you were leaning in as I paused. Why is that? It's because when you take your time to speak, you come off as a more important person. You see, somebody that's trying to prove and exude and overextend themselves, they're going to be leaning in. They're going to be speaking fast, right? Fast talkers. You don't trust people like this. When it's a man that's poised, he conducts himself with brevity. He doesn't use a lot of words to get his points across. Takes time to ponder. You come off as more trustworthy. You come off as upper echelon. I'm giving you guys real sauce right now. Can I get a like? Thank you. You know what I mean? But be cognizant of your breathing, gentlemen. As you're speaking, take your time to get your point across. When you take your time, you're able to go in your bag of vocabulary and really articulate in a succinct manner the exact word that you want to say. You see, as I'm thinking right now, or as I'm speaking rather, I have so many words in my mind. How are we able to make a coherent sentence? We're expressing what's in our mind in the form of words, right? Take your time. There's no rush. You can say whatever you want to say, fellas, the same way you can live whatever type of life you want to live. Number 4, pay attention to your body language. You see, when you walk in a room, fellas, on a subconscious level, you're portraying something to people. Your body speaks volumes. Whether you are confident up top or you're insecure, your body language speaks volumes. You see how I'm using my hands right now to convey something to you? Everything matters, fellas. Everything matters. You see how I opened my hands when I said everything? To show you everything grand. You see, if I did this everything, that doesn't really sync with what I'm trying to show you guys. This is important, guys, for presentations, when you're conducting business meetings, when you're trying to garner that attention of the woman that you want, how you're speaking. Your mannerisms have to be poised, calm, right? Body language is paramount, gentlemen, right? It doesn't matter whether I'm speaking English or another language. In fact, one of the things that, and I'll say this, I never use this word, but for the point of speaking to you guys about this, I'm going to use this word, right? Because I think a lot of you guys understand this word, being that it is a word that's used in modern day Western society, right? This is my first time using this word. One of the icks of somebody who is speaking a foreign language, in this case, I'll use a trope of let's say a gringo speaking Spanish. When a gringo, which is a white American, is speaking Spanish, typically they just learn the language. They just, yo puedo hablar. There's no sauce, or there's no sazon, as I said, there's no flavor. It's because they are just speaking the language in a literal sense. They're not exuding the culture. When you're learning a language, fellas, you're taking on the culture, everything. For example, si estoy hablando español, se nota que yo lo aprendí en Colombia en la manera que yo lo hablo. Yo muestro las características de una persona, de alguien que lo aprendió en Colombia, ¿cierto? When I'm speaking Spanish, my body language changed. Look at how my body changed. I assumed that culture. The same way when I'm speaking Creole, my mannerisms get more African. I'm sucking my teeth. This is important, guys, for how you're relaying information to people. So your body language speaks volumes. It speaks more volumes than the words that you use. In fact, speaking words is a rather primitive way of conversing, of articulation of language. Language is rather primitive, right? You see, anyways, I'm not going to go down the metaphysical route with you guys. That's going to be way too deep. This video will get super long. So perhaps I can go down that route in a future video. If you want to see that, let me know down below. But I'll just say this. Language is rather primitive. Your body language speaks more than your words. Because you can be saying something, acting like you're confident, but if your shoulders are rounded, if you're hunched over, somebody can see that. Which is why when you're with that woman and you're insecure, you think you're being confident, she can sense that, because women are emotionally intelligent and they're studying the subtleties and nuances of your body language, gentlemen. So if you want to become more articulate, pay attention to your body language. How are you conducting yourself? How are you carrying yourself? Are you well groomed? Huh? Does your breath stink? How do you look? Are your eyes glossy? Are you looking to the upper right, upper left, right, down right? All these things convey whether you're tapping into your emotions, whether you're lying. What is your way of speaking? Are you kinesthetic? Are you more auditory? Right? Guys, I'm getting into NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I can go really deep with this, guys. I've studied how to articulate. I didn't just come on here and start speaking succinctly. No, I really had to I had to revitalize and reshape my entire identity, bro, because I couldn't speak. Moving on. The fifth way to become more articulate is to slow down, as I said previously, but also use pauses. What do I mean? What I mean is, I just did it. What do I mean? What I mean is, take your time to speak. As I said previously, when you're trying to throw out so many words, it comes off as you're trying to prove something. You've seen guys before, perhaps they approach a girl at a bar and they're just speaking like 500 words a minute. On a subconscious level, this is showing a girl that you're nervous, that you're not really, self-assured, that you're not certain of yourself. Let me get some water. Even by doing this, getting some water, I'm pausing. Why is this? It's because I'm giving you guys value. I have your attention right now. I'm in no hurry to say what I have to say. Those that stay are going to get the value. And so I can take time to get some water. I can pause around. I don't have to put any edits in this video. I don't have to put any motion graphics. It's because you're tuned in. Why? Because of the psychological leverage and positioning that I have right now. One, I'm being my authentic self. I'm not being fake. And two, I'm just talking to you like a regular conversation. I'm calm. I'm not looking nervous. I'm not shaking. If I were to be looking nervous right now or shaking or just something weird, you would have clicked off the video by now. But no, you're still here at this point. Why is that? It's because I'm taking my time. I'm connecting with you one-on-one. This is often overlooked when it comes to articulation, guys. If you want to become more articulate, take your time and come off as poised and controlled when you're speaking. Try this with your next few interactions. Perhaps you're on a date with a lady this weekend, right? Try this. Just try, maybe cross your legs as the camera gets blurry, right? Maybe cross your legs, speak calm, just take your time. When you take your time, you can focus, gentlemen. Moving on. Learn a new language. Fellas, learning a new language is paramount to become a Renaissance man. You see, I speak multiple languages. For those of you that haven't subscribed to me for a while, you've seen it. For those of you that are new here, welcome to the channel. I am a polyglot. I speak multiple languages, obviously all at different levels. I have lived all over the world, bouncing off of continents like a pinball. I've dated multiple different women. I've experienced different cultures and societies, and this has made me a more profound, well-rounded, eclectic individual. And so the way that I articulate myself reflects my uncanny nature. Okay? So learning a new language has taught me that I need to get a deeper vocabulary bag in English. Every new language I learn new words in that language, which a lot of the languages that I've learned share a background with Latin. This year I've been learning Mandarin. I was also dating a Russian girl, so you feel me? If I'm in the Slavic part of the world, I like my Russian girls too, you know what I'm saying? Kakti. You know what I'm saying? What's good, baby? You know what I'm saying? What's good, baby? So that being said, learning a new language is not only going to promote neuroplasticity in your mind and make your brain, I would say it makes your brain a little bit more malleable in the sense that it exercises it. You can take in more information and your vocabulary bag gets deeper, right? Like you're able to just stand out, bro. You become a rare breed. Learning multiple different languages, especially with the first 5 I gave you, you're gonna walk around and be a completely different man, bro. Not only are you gonna be articulate, not only are you gonna be suave, intellectual, but now you can speak different languages and connect with different people. This is gonna help you connect with a myriad of different people all over the world. And it's also gonna help you master your one mother tongue, because the more languages I learn and every word I learn in that language, I want to make sure that I know that word in English as well. Like, for example, one of the ways that I even got the idea to start learning 5 new words a week was because as I was learning Spanish in Latin America, I was like, damn, like I'm using a lot of eloquent, high-level words in Spanish that I don't use in English. I said, I gotta better my English, and I've been speaking English since I was like 6, 7 years old. And so as a direct result of me studying Spanish, I even dabbled in some Portuguese, you know, my English became better. And also, while I was studying Igbo, which is a Nigerian tribe and language for those of you that don't know, the way that they speak in Igbo is a lot of euphemisms and parables and proverbs. I like to speak like that in English, which I'm sure that a lot of you guys have seen that by now. Now, in conjunction to that, I've also been writing poetry since I was like 8. So as I'm learning all these different languages, I'm finding old parts about myself, and I'm just building myself up as a man. Once you master articulation, bro, you could be having a good time with it. You can have a great time with it. It's fun how you speak, the words you use. It becomes a great experience. I used to hate speaking. I used to really dread going out in public and speaking to people, connecting. Now, I speak for a living. People pay me to speak for a living, to speak to them. And it's a blessing, bro. It's a blessing. So for those of you watching this right now that want to become a more articulate man, if you really take all these tips I just gave you, your life is going to change, bro. Your relationships are going to get better. The women that you're with are going to get better. You're going to make more meaningful brotherhoods, friends, masculine network. Your life is going to change, bro. So fellas, that being said, this is how you become more articulate. Again, if you want to become a modern-day Renaissance man, a man that's uncanny, peculiar, a well-rounded, eclectic individual, a rare breed, click that first link down below and let's see if it makes sense to work together. I got something special for you guys. I'm turning real men like you every day into real-life James Bond. Fellas, I'll see you guys in the next video. Salute.
Yeah, facilito las anota. Y ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Ella como Jordan. Facilito las anota. Y ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Yeah. Esa Julieta no necesita su